Don't move. Turn your fantasy football into reality. Here's CeJaay.
Seriously? That's ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous thing I've heard. Well, one of them, I mean, if you're on Twitter, emphasis on twit. I guess they changed the name to X because Twitter kind of, never mind. But listen, okay, it's on my, yeah. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Tell me what you think, okay? I think it's absolute stupidity. Absolute. Okay, yeah, I'm grumpy today. If you were eliminated from playoff contention in fantasy football, should you still be allowed to add and drop players? Oh, come on. Of course you are. Until you've played your last game, yes. And even then, why not if it's a dynasty? For sure, because you can drop your kicker for the offseason and add a guy. That's ridiculous. Let's just see what the responses, though, have restored my faith in fantasy football analysts on Twitter. Or X. I'm sorry, they call it X. It's X, right? Yeah, it's X. Okay. I've got an X. Oh, never mind. If the league rules don't prohibit me from trying to win, I'm going to keep trying to win. That's from Mike. Thank you, Mike. Sane. What about Gibby? All right. Yes, because they're trying to put together the best team to continue the fight against other teams in games that impact the seedings. Let's get it. Kelly, why not? Otherwise, the non-contenders are giving their opponents an easier win. Think about it. I played you early in the season when I had a good team before all the injuries hit, and I beat you. Now you're in second place. You're trying to catch that guy who's first, and the guy who's first is playing me, and I'm down there near the bottom now, eliminated from the playoffs because of injury. Do you want me to try to beat him or just give him the win and give him the player off of? I mean, look, I know I'm getting a little off kilter, a little excited about this, but for crying out loud, to keep a competitive balance in your league, of course you want people trying to the end. That's the whole thing. We don't want tankers. I mean, there's other ways to stop people from tanking, but that's not one of them. And speaking of tanking, someone sent me a message the other day. It's a phenomenal way to stop tanking. Whoever finishes last in the league, they have to pay double the league fee. I like that. I mean, most of our leagues, we have a little round robin with the non-playoff teams. The winner of that gets first pick and everyone else drops back one. But it keeps everybody from trying to win. And that's the whole idea, is to try to win, not gift you something. I mean, it's just like that medium points, playing against the medium point. Come on, that's for losers. You either win or you lose. It doesn't matter how many points you got. If I had more points than everybody else except that guy, so what? You lost to that guy. That's the guy you played. And it happens in professional sports and amateur sports and fantasy football. It happens everywhere all the time. So there's my rant. Now, if your team is eliminated and you have some room on your bench, there are two players that I think you should pick up for the off season, or for at least the rest of the season while you still can. I think the number one guy that I would take a shot at is Gibson, the guy that runs back the kicks for the New York Jets. They use him as a wide receiver a little bit. He is a rookie. He's fast. He's already had one kick return touchdown this year. But coaches love those guys, and that's how they get their foot in the door. The kick returners become the wide receiver 4, then they become the wide receiver 3, and all of a sudden they're the wide receiver 2 or 1 sometimes. Maybe they don't turn into superstars, but they turn into very successful fantasy football players. Doesn't happen overnight sometimes. Like Nico Collins, it's taken him a few years. Now, I'm not saying that Gibson is Nico Collins, but he might be. And if you got a spot on your bench, that's the kind of guy, the rookie that nobody else has. The other guy, you look at the Los Angeles Chargers right now, Darius Davis has returned kicks, and they've been using him in the backfield as a wide receiver. He hasn't been pounding the points. But darn it, that guy is going to be good. And remember, Herbert goes from a $5 million quarterback to a $50 million or something like that quarterback next year. Allen and Williams, they're getting old, and they're both making $20 million a year. That's how they're going to afford Herbert, is by getting those guys out. So Johnson, Palmer, and Darius Davis are going to be the guys. In fact, this weekend, they may not have Guyton, Palmer, Williams, or Allen. Darius might be the guy, along with maybe Everett and Parham, but those are tight ends. So how many wide receivers do the Los Angeles Chargers have, and why did they invest in wide receivers in the draft last year? There you go. So if your league allows you to keep adding players, there's a couple you might want to try. Have a great weekend. I know I'm going to have fun tomorrow. Enjoy your afternoon. I'm CeJaay. Please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Put the notification button on there too, because some of these shows are great. Yeah, I know some aren't, but hey, I'm old. I don't know what I'm doing. But you do. See you again.